Hi everyone, this is Unit 10, Lesson 2, and this lesson we're going to graph box and whisker plots by analyzing quartiles of the data, and this is using the calculator again, so have that TI-84 out. The do now says find the mean, median, and mode of the following data sets, and we have set A and set B. So I'll do set A with you right now. And then you could do set B on your own. So we are going to press stat because we're going to put set A in to our calculator. We're going to press enter, and we notice that we have a list in there from the prior question that we did. So you go up to L1 and you press clear, and then you press down and all of those numbers will be gone. So now we go ahead, we put 8 in, press enter, and 1, 0, 2, 0 again, 6, 15, 7, and 6. Okay, so median and mean are on the same page, but let me just go ahead and press stat again because I want to kind of rearrange these numbers, and I want the calculator to do it for me. I'm like really lazy. I don't want the calculator. I want the calculator to do every single bit for me that it can. Remember, you've pressed stat and you see this sort A. That's for sort ascending. That's what you want, and this is sort descending, which is taking the largest number and going to the smallest. I'm just going to do the smallest to the largest, so I'm going to press 2 right now, and I want L1 because I have the L1 list in there. I press second function and 1, which would be L1, and I'm going to press enter, and it says done. When I press stat again, and then press enter, I'm going to go back to that list, and it's going to be a sorted list from least to greatest. And you see that there's 2 zeros and 2 6s. So those are the modes, 0 and 6. I pressed 0 and 6. So just 2 modes because there's 2 numbers that occur the same amount of time. So let's get to the mean and median. We are going to press stat, move over to calc. We have one variable, stats, and we're going to press enter, and we are on list 1, and we are going to press enter 3 more times, and we have the one variable, stats. So the X with the line on top, the very first number, is the mean. That is the average. It's right here, and that is 5. The median, you have to press down, keep on going down, and there it is, along with the quartiles and the min and the max. This is very important for this lesson. It's called the 5-number summary, but median is what we need right here. So median is 6. And that is it. Go ahead, see if you could do set B on your own, just like we did. And remember, you press stat to get back, and then enter to get back to the lists. If you want to clear that list, remember, go up to L1, clear, and then down, and it clears that list for you. Once you have that list clear, go ahead, input those numbers, sort them if you need to for the mode. Especially, it just makes it easier to pick out, and then get the mean and median going to one variable, stats, and writing those down. Press pause now. So I have my numbers in, and hopefully you have all of the answers, and we're going to go over everything right now. And I am going to sort these because I'm really lazy and I want to sort them ascending from least to greatest, which is 2. And I am going to do that for L1, which is right here. All right, you press second function and then you press 1 for L1. You press enter, it says done. So then you go back to stat and you enter the list. You press enter once and you see exactly what's going on. So we have 10 occurring twice, you have 20 occurring twice, and that's about it. So there are two modes, 10 and 20. And you can see how easy it is when the calculator does, when you press this, that you want to list them from least to greatest. Remember, you press stat, and it's right there, sort ascending. All right, just make sure that you're on the right list. You have L1, make sure your calculator is on L1. So now you press stat, and you want to get the mean and median. So you press stat and you go over to calc, and you have one variable stats, you press enter. You're on list 1, so you press enter 3 more times and you will get the average, which is the first number. The mean with the X with the bar on top is 35. It's right here. And then the median, which is down below, which is right here, median is 25. That's the middle number. Okay, so that is about it with that, and those are the answers. Hopefully you were able to do that in your calculator. So a little bit of vocabulary and a little bit of visuals of what a box plot looks like. These are called box plots. They used to be called box and whisker plots. They've dropped a lot of textbooks and websites drop the box and whisker, but the box and this is the box right here, and these are the whiskers, right? That's what that is known. This side right here, and I'll go over this with you. This side right here, this line, that's the min. This is quartile 1. This is the median. This is quartile 3, and this is the max. All right, and I'll go over everything that has to do with right there. Box and whisker plot, box plot is a visual way of showing median values, and we're going to take the median 3 separate times for a set of data. It summarizes a set along a number line. The median is the only measure of central tendency that is used dealing with a box plot. You don't deal with mode, you don't deal with mean, so it is the only measure. You take median, you're going to end up taking the median 3 separate times. So 3 quartiles are divide a data set into 4 equal parts. That's why they call them quartiles, quarters. The median of the lower half of the data is the lower quartile, or the first quartile. The median of the upper half of the data is the upper quartile, or it's known as Q3, third quartile. And the median is the middle quartile. So I wanted to bring this down here, right down here, just to show you exactly what I mean. Right here, this one right here, this line, that is called the min. It's the smallest number. That's the min. And the next easiest thing to identify is the max. Here's the max. That's the highest number, the greatest number that is in the whole data set. That is going to be the max, and this is the smallest number. So this right here, this middle number, is known as Q2, which is the second quartile, Q2, or it is known as the median of the whole data set. So that Q2, that is the median. This one right here is Q1, and it's the median of the lower half. This is going to be the lower half of the data, and you take the median of that lower half and get that Q1. This is Q3, and that is the median of the upper half of the data. So you're taking median 3 times. And when they say it's quartiles, this part right here from min to Q1, that's 25%. From Q1 to Q2 is 25%. From Q2 to Q3 is 25%. And from Q3 to the max is 25%. So no matter whatever way it looks, how large it is, how small it is, and that is known as 25. They're quartiles. That's why they're called quartiles. They have 25%. They include 25% of the data, 25% of the data, and then all along here. So that's everything that you would need to know. So this is for quartile situations. So what we're talking about here are the numbers, and we're just going to go over how to actually arrive at these numbers, and we're going to take it step by step and work through it. Okay, so we'll go over this and we'll see exactly what's going on. So right here is what you really need to write down all of the time. This is called the 5-number summary, right? So the 5-number summary is min, quartile 1, quartile 2, which is the median of the whole data set, quartile 3, and the max, right? So I'll show you how to get those. It's really easy. It's what you've been doing already. So here are the numbers. Forget about these lines for now, right? So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. I am going to go up to L1, press clear, and then press down right now. So I'm going to put those numbers in, and I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. Okay, so here we go right now. We're going to press Stat, and we're going to go over to Calc, and we are going to get our 5-number summary. The calculator is going to do it for us. We are in L1. I'm going to press Enter 3 times right there, and there is your 5-number summary right here. The min is 10, so all you have to do is put your 10 in. Oops. And the quartile 1 is 25, so all you would have to do is put that 25. Quartile 2, which is the median, you notice it says median. A lot of people just put median for that one. It is 45. And quartile 3, which is right there, right here, 65, and the max is 80. So you have your 5-number summary. Everything is good. You have everything set up, and that max right there. Let me just fit that in right there perfectly. All right. So this is basically what you do. And I'm just going to draw it as if I was doing this. I have a min of 10, so I put a line like this. And then the quartile 1 is 25, so I put a line like this. And then quartile 2 is 45, I put a line like this. And 65 is quartile 1, and I put a line like that. And the max is 80, and I put a line like that. Then I just connect all the way across, and I'm going to do this drawing a line like that and like this without the arrows, and from quartile 1 out to the min, which is right here, and from quartile 3 out to the max. And that is my box and whisker plot. Very, very easy to do. Simple. actually. So just remember, it all starts with that 5-number summary. If you forget the 5-number summary, guess what? It's right on the calculator. It's min, quartile 1, median, which is quartile 2, quartile 3, and max. And that is that. One thing that this does not show is the fact that you do have to create a number line. And the number line, remember, has to go, the number line, when you create a number line, it has to go by either by twos, a consistent number pattern, right? And this is correct. This would be correct for this. It's going by tens, but for this one, if this is the data set, it wouldn't be correct. I just wanted to show you how I would do one, and then we're not going to draw anymore because the number lines here, they're not. This would have to be if it's going by fours, this would have to be 68. All right, and this would have to be 98 if this is going by fours, and it's not going by fours. It's all over the place. I don't want you to get confused. Just remember how to get the 5-number summaries. Just practice right now. So what we're going to do for this second one is that we're going to go to stat. So everybody press stat. We're going to press enter, and we're going to clear that old list out. We're going to press clear and then press down. Go ahead and put all of these numbers into the calculator as I do it. 65, you enter. 72, enter. 76, enter. 80, enter. 85, enter. 94, and then 97. I always check to see that I put in every number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I should have 7. I do. And that is it. So I am going to write down my 5-number summary right here. So my 5-number summary is ready to go. I have min, quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, and max. Remember, my quartile 2 is the median of the whole data set. So here we go. We have our numbers. I'm going to press stat, and I'm going to go over to calc, and I am going to press enter 4 times. And I need my 5-number summary. My 5-number summary, the min is 65. The quartile 1 is 72. Quartile 2, which is the median, is 80. Quartile 3 is 94. And I'm just letting the calculator tell me what it is. And the max is 97. The only way you could get this wrong is if you input incorrectly. And look, this quartile 1 is 72. I have a quartile 1 of 72. Quartile 2 is 80. Yes, 80. Quartile 3 is 94. Yes, and the max would be 97, and the min would be 65. So I'm not going to draw the box and whisker plot because this is not a proper number line. We'll do that later. Just wanted to try to see if you could do that and get the actual numbers on your own. Quartile 1, quartile 2, and quartile 3. So go ahead and try this third list here, set of numbers, and see if you could fill out the 5-number summary, and we'll go over those answers when we come back. Press pause now. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully you got all of these numbers correct. And let me just clear out this one and this one because that's from the other problem. And obviously looking at this data list, the 12 is the max, and I could see that right now. And I'm going to go down, and I have a min of 2, looking at my calculator, quartile 1 is 4. The quartile 2, the median, is 7. And the quartile 3, my calculator is telling me it is 10. And I have all of my numbers. My max is 12. And all of my numbers are there, and everything is correct. So we're going to do this last one, and we're going to clear that list out. We're going to press clear and then down. And we're going to put 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So obviously you could tell that the min is the lowest number. We could put that in, that's 1. The max is the greatest number in this list, and that's 9. Right? So just seeing that we have what we have here, we have quartile 2 is 5, because that is the median of the whole data set. When you do it by hand, you could check off 1 and 9, 7, and 3. So 5 is the median, right? So, and that is what you would put down for Q2, which is 5, right? And then if this is by hand, so this would be your kind of like what your wall would be. And now this is just 1, 3, and 5 represent the lower half. And since the wall is on 5, you only have 1 and 3 in that lower half. So just think about the number that is in between. The median of in between 1 and 3 is 2. Use 1 plus 3 and you divide it by 2, it's 2. This would be 2, and that's where you get that quartile 1. It's the median of the lower half of the numbers. Now you see this 5, the 5 is kind of like gone now. That's the median, and there's the wall is on 5. So 7 and 9 represent the upper half, right? So the upper portion of the upper quartile of this whole data set. So 7 and 9. There is no number in between. So 7, to take the median of 7 and 9, you have to add 7 and 9, then divide by 2. Obviously 8 is directly in the middle, and that's what quartile 3 is. And that's how you would do it by hand. I don't think you have to ever do it by hand, but that's how you would do everything by hand. So that would be it. You see it in my calculator right here. It gives you the numbers. Just taking a step back, taking a look at this one. To get the min is 2, obviously, and the max is 12. That's the first thing that I usually put down. So now I go ahead and check off 2 and 1 on 12, and then 4 and 10. You notice that there are 2 numbers in the middle, 6 and 8. Well, I would put a wall straight down, and obviously between 6 and 8, directly in between, the median would be 7. And the official way of doing that is 8 plus 6 divided by 2. So that would be 8 plus 6 is 14, divided by 2 is 7. And that's why quartile 2 is 7. This is the wall. So the first 3 numbers here represent the lower quartile, the lower half of this. So the lower, so I put 2, I put a check mark on 2. I'm going to get the median of just the lower half, and that's 4. So quartile 1 is 4. That's why that's 4. Now this is the upper half, the upper quartile, and there's 3 numbers. So I put a check on 8 and a check on 12, and I have 10 as my median of my upper quartile. And that's Q3. So I just wanted to show you by hand, because I kind of tend to use the calculator all the time, but if you have to do it by hand, if ever, you would have seen it done before. So the 5-number summary is what we're talking about. Remember, it is very easy to remember. It's min quartile 1, which is the median of the lower quartile, quartile 2, which is the median of the whole data set, in quartile 3, which is the median of the upper quartile, and then max, the maximum number. So the 5-number summary contains all the information you need to create the box plot. The 5-number summary contains the minimum, first quartile, second quartile, which is the median, third quartile, and the max. So min, Q1, median, Q3, and max. And again, you could say the median is Q2. The interquartile range is the difference. Remember, range is max minus min. If you just say, well, what's the range of this data set? You're going to take the largest number, subtract the minimum from it. But if they say get the interquartile range, how do you find it? Well, you take the quartiles. It's just a range within the quartiles. It's themselves. So you have Q3 minus Q1. And this is the interquartile range. Everything here is perfectly shown. And you have min, which is this, and this is quartile 1. This is the median of the lower quartile. This is the median of the whole data set. This is the median of the upper quartile, and this is the max. This would be the interquartile range. Remember, it would be Q3 minus Q1. I just put it there, and I just want to make sure you understand interquartile range is sometimes shortened up to, they put IQR. You would have to know if that's interquartile range. And it is Q3 minus Q1, or they sometimes say it could be 2, 2, the word 2, 3, 2, 5. All right, if it's 3, if this is quartile 1 is 3, 3, 2, 5. All right, and we'll get into some of that, and that's it. That's all. All right, how do I find the interquartile range? Q3 minus Q1, it's right here, and I put it here as well. Okay, how do we create a box and whisker plot by hand? We did it a little bit. We're going to go over it again. Arrange the numbers from least to greatest, or you could just put the numbers into the calculator, have the calculator arrange it for you. Once you have them from least to greatest, you could find the 5-number summary. And the 5-number summary, very, very important. Min, Q1, median, which is Q2, Q3, and max. Then use that range. Use the range, at least like the min and the max. You don't have to use those numbers, but you have to use you have to cover the whole range of this whole data set. So we're talking about, all right, a min is 2, so a good place to start your number line would be 0. If you were going by 5s, that's okay, all right, even though the numbers here don't go by 5s, all right, because you wouldn't want to go by 2s all the way up to 25. I mean, you could, or you could go by 3. That would be fine also. Or you could go by 5s like we did here. So if you go by 5s, you cover all of it, all right up to the max. So then you go down and draw a line for each one of the vertical, draw a vertical line for each number in the 5-number summary. So like I said before, remember, all right, so my 5-number summary is 2, right? So I draw a line straight down here. Then my Q1 is 3, so I draw a line straight down here. Then my median is 9, and I draw a line straight down here, making sure, putting the numbers underneath that they are. And then I have Q3, which I'm going to draw a line right there and put a number underneath. And then 25 is the max. I'm going to draw my final line. Now, I am going to take those. Now, the 5-number summary is done. You used your 5 numbers. Now, I am going to draw, and I'll do it up here, and I'll show you. From Q, this is Q1, this 3. So I am going to draw my line this way, with no arrow, of course. And then, obviously, I have a line going down that way. And I am going to draw another line right here, connecting my Q1, my Q2, and my Q3. Just like this. See? And now I have from Q1 to the min, I'm going to connect, and from Q3 to the max, I'm going to connect. And there is my box plot, and that is it. So these are all the steps. Draw a box connecting Q1 and the median and Q3. Those are the quartiles. And then you just basically draw horizontal lines just looking like this. All right. The box was added in step 5, and the whiskers in step 6. Box plot could be above or below the number line. All right, so let me just get my face out of the way. And the box plot could be above or below the number line. It doesn't matter. I always really put it like I put it above and the numbers below. Like these numbers 0, I put it below. It's not really a big deal at all. All right, so we have we're going to create this by hand. All right, we're not going to use the calculator at all. We are just going to create it by hand. We have the data set right here. So the first thing I'm going to put in is the min, which is 2, and then the max, which is 12. So I am going to put a series of check marks. Don't cross out the numbers because you're going to use them again. And we're going to have 6 and 8 directly in the middle. In between that, we're going to put a wall, right? So we have 6 and 8 and the median, which is 7. Right? So now we have this wall. The lower quartile is 2, 4, and 6. So the 2, you put a check mark, and the 6, you put a check mark. The number in the middle, the median of the lower quartile, which is Q1, is a 4. And then you have 8 and 12, and the median of the upper quartile is 10. And there is your 5-number summary. Remember, you now have to draw a number line. And just put your line down first, and just make sure you have arrows on either end, nice big line. And then you're starting from, or you have to include the min, and at least going to the max. You have to include that range. You don't have to start with 2. I'm going to start with 0. And then I'm going to go to 2. I'm going to count by 2s. And then 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and I'll just put 14. Okay? So now I have my number line. So I'm going to put a line for 2 and a line for the max, which is 12. All right, and this is 2. You can put the numbers up here if you want, and then 12 over here. And then Q1 is 4. So I'm going to put another line. And I am going to put another line for the median, which is 7. And another line for quartile 3, which is 10 in this case. So I have all of my lines here, and now I'm going to connect quartile 1, quartile 2, and quartile 3 in a box like that. And I'm going to connect quartile 1, quartile 2 on the bottom like that. And then I'm going to take quartile 1 to the min and quartile 3 to the max, and that is my box and whisker plot. It's called the box plot. And that's it. Go see if you can do B on your own by hand. Obviously, you didn't see me take the calculator and do any of this. So this is all by hand. Remember, the 5-number summary should be first on your page. So, and this is listed from least to greatest already. So we're going to do the 5-number summary together. This is 0, the min, and the max is 18. Right? So we're going to figure out the median of the whole data set. So I'm going to check off one from the left, one from the right, and go one from the left, one from the right. So there's 3 on each side, and there's 6 in the middle, so that's the median. That is your median of your whole data set. So now I am going to write a 6, and I'm also going to put a line in I call it a wall, but it's a line, on top of the 6. So like now it's gone. The 6 is basically not really there anymore. I put the wall on top of it. Now this is my lower quartile, and I'm going to go through the same thing. I'm going to get the median of the lower quartile, which 1 check mark for 0, 1 check mark for 4 on the right side, and 3 is in the middle. That is quartile 1. That's the median of the lower quartile. Then I have 8 and 18 in the upper quartile, and 10 is in the middle. That's the median of the upper quartile, and that's quartile 3. So now you go ahead and you draw your number line. So I went by 2s the last time. If you're thinking, if you want to go by 5s, I wouldn't go by 5s, but I mean you can. It's fine. You can go by 2s also. But for one thing, I'm going to definitely start with 0, and then I am going to go by 3s. But remember, it has to be consistent. If I go by 3s, I'm not putting the numbers of my 5-number summary down on the number line. I'm just going by 3s. I am making sure that I cover the range of what's in the data set. So I have 15, and then I have 18. So you see how nicely it did work out for me. All right, so, and again, I work above the number line, and you could work below. It's fine, whatever you want to do. The min is 0, so I'm going to put a line like that. The quartile 1 is 3, so I'm going to put a line right above that. And again, you could put 0 and 3. And I think you should do that because it just makes it a lot easier to read. And there's the 6 for the overall median of the whole thing is 6. Then I'm going to put another line right here where 10 would be. So I'm going to just make sure it's at around 10. Right there. And that's 10. And then the last number is 18. That's the max. So I'm going to put it right there. Making sure that that's 18. So now I'm going to take I'm going to just connect the quartiles just like that, and just like that. And I'm going to connect the quartile 1 out to the min, and then the quartile 3 out to the max. Just the way you see it. And that is my box plot. Right? Not too bad. It's not very difficult. Again, you could do this in the calculator also, but again, it's so easy that sometimes with numbers like this, like it's just so easy to get the 5-number summary without the calculator. It's not really a difficult thing to do. We have 2 more questions, C and D, and I set them up on this page right here. If you want to pause the video and do both of these, and we'll come back with the answers just to make sure that, well, actually just do C, and we'll come back with those answers, and we'll review how to go over getting the 5-number summary, just making sure that you know how to do it. Go ahead and press pause now. Alright, hopefully you did have a chance to put things together. The min is 10. You can see the min is 10, nice and easy, and the max is 40. I always put those down first. So then I am going to put check marks right here, 1 on each side. Now there's 2 on each side, and then there's 3 right in the middle. That is the median, that is 20. So I am going to put a wall right on 20, and this is now my lower quartile, and I can see that 20 and 10 are checked off, and its 16 is directly in the middle. That is quartile 1. And my upper quartile, 30 and 40, get the check mark, and 36 is directly in the middle, and that is the median of the upper quartile, which is 36, quartile 3. Alright, so I have to cover my 5-number summary. So I'm going to start with 0, and I am going to go by tens. Just like that. And I'm going to shorten down my number line, because I don't need those numbers, so my number line will look like that. All right. And you could have actually gone by, you know what, I'm going to change it. So I decided to go by 5s. And I mean, I just didn't want it to be too short, and going by 10s would have been fine, but really this isn't that bad to do. So this is 40, and I could just put 1 more as 45, which I don't even need, but whatever. And that's looks a little better for me. So now the min is 10, and I am going to put the min down right there, and I'm going to put 10 above it. The quartile 1 is 16, so I am going to put a line like that, and I'm going to put that 16 above it. The median is 20, so I am going to put another line at 20 for the median, and I am going to put 20 above it. And the quartile 3 is 36, so I'm just going to go all the way over here and put a line 4, which looks like to me 36, a little bit past 35, which is fine. 36. And then the last line is at 40, and that represents my max. And that's it. When I am finished with that, I have all 5 lines. I am going to connect my quartile 1 to my quartile 3. That's on the top, and then I'm going to do the same on that bottom. Just like that. And I am going to connect the quartile 1 to the min, and the quartile 3 to the max, and there is my box and whisker plot. Go ahead, see if you can do the same thing for D. and we'll go over those answers as soon as we come back. Press pause now. Okay, so hopefully you have all of these numbers, but let's go over how to get the 5-number summary. The min is 14, the max is 32. As we can see that, I am just going to check off 3 from the lower half, 3 from the upper half, just to get me going. Then I'm going to go back to the lower half, check off 1, and check off another from the upper. So now 22 is my median, and I am going to draw a line directly on 22. So that means my lower half now, my lower quartile, would be 14, 14, 16, and 20. So if I had put check marks here and a check mark here, you notice that the median is 14, in between 14 and 16, and in between 14 and 16 is 15. All right, you can add these two numbers, get 30, and then divide by 2 and get 15 for the quartile 1. And then I'm going to do the median. I'm going to figure out the median of the upper quartile, with 24 and 30 being directly in the middle. Then I could add 30 plus 24 and divide by 2 and get 27 as my quartile 3. So now I have a line at 14 for the min, a line at 15 for the quartile 1, a line at 22 for quartile 3, and a line at 27 for quartile 3, and a line for the max, and connect them, and it looks like this. And that's it. That's going by hand, doing it by hand totally, and hopefully you understand that. Taking a look at this essential question, the first thing it says to do is to list the numbers from least to greatest. There are a lot of numbers here. There's 24 numbers, and it's going to ask you what the min and the max are, and what the median of that data set is. The calculator is definitely necessary for this. This is not by hand, so we're going to take that calculator out and list those numbers. Rather than watch me put the numbers in, just remember, just go ahead and click Stat, and press Enter. Go up to L1, press Clear, and then down. And then go ahead, put 3 in, put 9 in. I'm going by column, right? Put 9 in, and go ahead, press pause, put all the numbers in, and then we'll come back and list them from least to greatest. Makes it much easier when you do it on the calculator. All right, so go ahead, put those numbers in, press pause now. So as you can see, I have all of my numbers in, and the first thing that this says to do is list from least to greatest. So just remember what I did say before about listing from least to greatest or greatest to least. It's easily done on the calculator, so let's go ahead and do that on the calculator. Press Stat. Sort ascending would be from least to greatest, so I am going to press 2 and just make sure that you had everything in list 1. You press second function L1, close that parenthesis, and then press Enter, and it says done. Next time you go back to the list, pressing Stat and then Enter again, they'll be listed from least to greatest. So go ahead and list all of the numbers from least to greatest right there, and we'll come back with those answers. Press pause now. All right, so here we go. The calculator put it in order from least to greatest for us, and I listed all the numbers here. I'm not going to go through them all, but there should be 24 numbers. So what is your min? Well, just double checking on the calculator, if I can get back to it, the min is 0, And on my list, it's 0, the minimum number. What is the max of the data set? 45. On my list and in the calculator, it will say 45. What is the median of the data set? Well, I'm going to go to stat and calc, one variable stats. I'm on list number 1, and there it is. Min is, let me just check it out. Min is 0. My max is 45. My median is 10 of the data set. My 5-number summary is right here. So the min is 0. The quartile 1 is 4. Quartile 2, which is the median, is 10. And I'm going to move this down, and my quartile 3 is 17. My max is 45. So now I am going to get rid of this calculator. Notice that 24 numbers in this set means you should have 6 numbers in each quartile representing 25% of the data each. Remember, quartiles. All right, so this is now asking you, just get that down, to draw a number line with the least and the greatest value in the data set and graph the 5 numbers that you found in part B. Create a box plot. All right, so that's what they want you to do, create that box plot. So there is a number line right here, all set up for me. And I would go, if I was drawing this number line, I would probably go by 5s. I could go by 10. Yeah, I would go by 5s. All right, and it would create a number line just like this. So the 5-number summary is right here, and we are going to work it out right now. Drawing a line above. I do work above 90% of the time. So I am going to clear this out and work above. I'm actually just going to remove this up just a little bit. And I am going to move this down. So I am going to draw a line at the min, which is 0. I'm going to draw a line at 4, which is the quartile 1. I'm going to draw a line at quartile 2, which is 10, and that's the median of the whole data set. And I am going to draw a line at quartile 3, which is 17, and this is 17 right here. And I'm going to draw a line at 45, which is the max. All right, so now I am going to connect just like that, the quartiles, and just like this. I am drawing out from quartile 1 to the min, and a long way to the max. And just so I don't forget or confuse, this is the min, which is 0. This is quartile 1, which is 4. This is quartile 2, which is the median, and this is quartile 3, which is the median of the upper quartile, and this is the max. Remember, each one of these lines are called quartiles, and this represents 25% of the data. Each of these represents 25% of the data, even if they ask you. If they do ask you for the interquartile range, you take quartile 3 and subtract quartile 1 from it. You would get 17 minus 4. Which is 13. And that is called the interquartile range. Or they could put 4 to 17. All right, just to make sure you're okay with those questions. On this page, it's just for your, for your notes, using TI-84 to make a box plot. We went over all of this. We used it a lot of times, so just make sure that you could refer to this page. And also, there is a way that you can make a box plot on the TI-84 and actually see it. I am not even going to go over this. I think it's easy enough once you have your 5-number summary to write down the box plot, and I think it takes longer using the TI-84 than anything. So if you do want to explore and actually try to do it, you could follow these directions right here. All right, so shapes of box plots, there's a lot of different shapes, and this is skewed left, where the left whisker is longer than the right whisker, and most of the data is on to the right hand side. It's skewed to the left, where this min is all the way over here, and then the median of the quartile 1 is the lower quartile is all the way over here, and the median of the whole data set, you can tell it is all the way over to the right hand side. The left whisker is longer than the right whisker. That means it's skewed left. Symmetric means the whiskers are about the same length, and the median is basically in the middle of the data. And skewed right is that right whisker is longer than the left. Most data is on the left, though. All right, so we have a on your own question. The double box plot below. This is a double box plot where we have 2 box plots right on top of each other, just like that. Compares the battery lives in hours of 2 brands of cell phones. Identify the shape of each distribution, brand A and brand B. Compare the interquartile range of the data sets. Which brand do you think has a greater standard deviation, and why? What is the range of the upper 75% of each brand? Go ahead, try to do these questions. Press pause now. Okay, just to start here, identify the shape of each distribution. The brand A, which is right here, that looks pretty symmetric to me. Both whiskers are the same length. The median is directly in the middle. That's good for me right there. Brand B, this whisker right here on the right-hand side is a little bit longer than the one on the left. So this is skewed right. And you notice that the median is shifted over to the left-hand side, which means most of the data is over on that left-hand side, and so it is skewed right. We're talking about interquartile range, so we're going to start with brand A. Brand A, you're going to take 5 and minus 3.5 from it. So we have 5 right here, and this is 3.5, which is quartile 1. This is quartile 3. And we're talking about interquartile range, so that means just within the quartiles, what's the range? And that is 1.5. All right. When we're talking about brand B, it's a little bit more difficult, but if you're talking about maybe 4.25, and I decided to make that a 4.3 because it does look a little bit beyond the midpoint right there, because 4.25 would be directly in the middle of 4 and 4.5. So 4.3, a little bit right there, right? 4.3. And right here, you could put 3.3. And that's 1. So the interquartile ranges of those are right there. Which brand do you think has a greater standard deviation and why? Right? Remember, standard deviation. Standard deviation that is closer to 0 has less, the numbers are kind of closer to the mean. If you have a larger standard deviation, that means the numbers are further away from the mean. And which brand do you think has a greater standard deviation? Take a look at brand A and how far those numbers are away from the mean. This is median. I don't know why I'm pointing that, but this is a larger range of data for brand A. So brand A has a greater standard deviation without me putting any of the numbers in, because I don't even know the numbers. But it has a greater standard deviation because the data is spread further away from the mean. Larger range of data means higher, greater standard deviation. B is not the same range. All right, and it's a less of a range away from the mean. What range does the upper 75% of each brand have? Remember, upper 75%. So we're talking about just this part. Just this part. 75%. Upper 75%. All right, this is 25%. If we put 25%, 25%, go look at what I did right here. I put 25%, 25%, 25%, and 25%. So the upper 75% would consist of this, and this. That would be the upper 75%. So taking that into consideration, you have what is the range of the upper 75%? So we have 7, which is your max, which would be this right here, minus, in the range you're trying to figure out from here to here, 3.5. And that would be 3.5. So I'm not going to write down the 25% because it's going to be the same thing. This is 20, this is 25, this is 25, this is 25. That's the upper 75%. And that would be 6, just about 6. I'm going to say 6, minus 3.3. Would be 2.7. Right? And you're just figuring out the range of the upper 75% of each brand. Yep. Great. All right, here are some Regents questions. And these are the questions that when you're taking the Regents that you would have to answer. Green is planning a beach vacation in July and is analyzing the daily high temperatures for potential destinations. She would like to choose a destination with a high median temperature and a small interquartile range, a high median. She constructed the box plots shown in the diagram below. Just take a look. Which destination, so the question is, which destination has a median temperature above 80 degrees and the smallest interquartile range? All right, so let's talk about a median of above 80. So the median, remember, is that line in the middle, above 80. Whispering Palms, that looks like it. So that's right here. Ocean is out. Above 80, no, this Shores is out, and Pelican Beach is in. Whispering Palms in there, okay. And then the smallest interquartile range, Pelican Beach. D is your answer. That's it. All right, pretty easy. Yes, it is. So we have the second question right here. Christopher looked at his quiz scores shown below for the first and second semester of his algebra class. Well, I'm going to give you a chance to do this on your own. Go ahead, see if you could put these two semesters in separately. They're asking about Christopher's performance in the first semester versus the second semester. The interquartile range for semester 1 is greater than the interquartile range in semester 2. The median score semester 1 is greater than the median score for semester 2. The mean is greater for the third quartile for semester is greater. So the way to do this is just put these in your calculator, grab your calculator, and put both lists in at the same time, right? So we're going to press stat, and I'm going to let you do this on your own, and then clear that list out. Go up to L1, press clear, then down. Put semester 1 in as L1, put semester 2 in as L2. Go ahead and look at all of the choices and get the answers as far as the interquartile range, the medians of each, and then you can pick out your answer. And we'll go over it next. Press pause now. Okay, so just so you know, all right, I put in L1 as semester 1, L2 as semester 2. So I am going to press stat right now and press calc and one variable stats, and it is going to say list L1. I'm going to keep it on L1 and press enter, right? So I am going to look at all of these numbers here for L1. The median score for semester 1 is 88. I'm just going to put that down. The mean score for semester 1 is all the way up top, 86.8. And the third quartile for semester 2 is greater than the third quartile for semester 1. I'm just going to put these so I don't have to go back and forth. This third quartile is 92.5. Interquartile range for semester 1 is this 92.5 minus 80.5, which is 12. 92.5 minus 80.5 is 12. All right. So now I could switch to, and the reason why I stopped, and I just wanted to kind of just go over this with you. This right now, you're pressing calc, you're pressing enter. The thing is, this is list 1. You have to change that to list 2. All right, so pressing second function, list 2. All right, now you could press enter 3 more times, and you will get now the next, all of the information on that semester 2. So the median of semester 2 is 88. And I can see it on my calculator. Guess what? It is not greater. The semester 1 is not greater than the median score for semester 2, so that's out. The mean score for semester 2 is greater. Let's go back up and look at that mean. It's all the way up on top. It is 87. That is the answer. The mean score for semester 2 is greater than the mean score for semester 1. The third quartile, let's just prove it. For semester 2 is greater than the third quartile of semester 1. It is not greater. And the interquartile range is 92 minus 80 for this one, which is 12. And it is not greater, and it's the same. So A is out as well. C is your answer. Hopefully you did get that. Just do process of elimination, and it's a little bit of work with the calculator and knowing how to use the calculator, and you'll be okay if you do know how to use that calculator. So, last question, exit slip, the length in inches of a fish caught on the fishing trip, all of those numbers. What's the median of the data set? First and third quartiles, make a box and whisker plot, and then find the interquartile range. Go ahead, put all those numbers in. Remember, you have the calculator, so you have 2 lists in there right now, and you do have to clear them out. Go up, clear and down, go over to L1, go up, clear and down, and that's it. Start putting all of those numbers into L1 only and figure out all those numbers. We'll come back with some of the answers and explanations after you press pause. Press pause now. Alright, so I did put in all of those numbers. We have 12 numbers, and I double checked and I press stat, and I am going to go over to calc because I need some information here. I am on list 2. Just be careful. You press second function, list 1. That was from the question that was before this. And I press enter 3 times. And what is the median of this whole data set? The median is 11. So I'm going to put that down right now. What are the first and third quartiles? So the first quartile is 8.5, and the second quartile, third quartile is 13.5. So 8.5 and 13.5. So I have my median, I have my quartile 1, my quartile 2. So now I am going to just write down my 5-number summary and do the box and whisker plot for this data set. So taking a look at my min, which I am going to put down as 7. I'm just going to copy all of this down, 7. My quartile 1 is 8.5. My median, which is my quartile 2, is 11. My quartile 3 is 13.5. And my max is 14. So now I don't need the calculator anymore. I have a min of 7 and a max of 14. I am going to go by ones. And I went by ones there, so my min is 7. My quartile 1 is 8.5. The quartile, the median is 11. All right. And the quartile 3 is 13.5, and the max is 14. I am going to put these directly under 7, 8.5, and 11, 13.5, and the max is 14. Just to make it easy. So I am going to connect the quartile 1 and all of the quartiles, quartile 3, and I'm going to connect all of these right here, making a box plot out to the min, quartile 1 out to the min, and quartile 3 out to the max, and that is your box plot. Alright, so what is the interquartile range for the data? So we have 13.5 minus 13.5 minus 8.5. And that is 5. And that's the interquartile range. Hopefully that video did help you out, and just remember, use your calculator when you can. If it says by hand, then do it by hand. We did both ways, and we went over everything. See you next time.